What's going on, guys? It is ChosenTCG here once again with another fun deck video. Now, this deck is pretty special to me because this is actually one of the first decks I posted up on YouTube on my other channel. And yeah, I'm gonna kind of get started now, and I'm gonna before I start, please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of these videos. Make sure you check the description below to see, the full deck list if you don't see it here. I'm just gonna be talking about some of the things of my choices. And by the way, this deck is, I think, pretty similar to what I had 2 years ago on my other channel. But I'm just gonna talk about it. Yeah. Anyway, this deck initially did pretty well, and it still can do pretty well. Obviously in today's game it's a bit different, so it's obviously not as powerful as before, because it is a slow deck. But anyway, 3 giant rats, of course, 3 nimble mamongas, 2 DD warriors, 2 card troopers, 2 exile force, 1 grand mole, 1 injection fairy lily, 1 Gorz, double psychic commander, 1 warrior lady, and of course the 2 bazoos. Now we got 1 rhoda, book, chalice, and shrink, and then the enemy controller, double smash, and then the heavy storm monster reborn and dark hole. Now these traps, everything, triple solemn, double bottomless, double deep prison, 1 starlight road, 1 mirror force, of course the 1 return from a different dimension. Okay, so if rat toolbox, if you've seen like the other video from this other channel, this deck is very good against blackwings, mainly because, well, before it was good because it's like you stop their normal summons, you kind of just get rid of their synchros. Obviously now it's a bit different, but it's still like one of those decks where you can keep up with the advantage, and this is the main thing. It's to grind it out with advantage. And if you get heavy storm, not too much of a big problem. If you get heavy storm and dark hold, okay, that's a big problem. But mainly this deck is pretty much, I would say, anti-meta, but it's also fun and competitive at the same time. So 3 giant rat obviously searches everything except the bazoos, warrior lady, and Gorz. It can search for itself as well. Now the mamongas, at first I was like, what do I want to use this for? Well, it's mainly for Bazoo and the return from a different dimension. This is one aspect of the deck that I thought you just have to use, because even though, okay, it might be dead in your hand, but if you get it mid-game or somewhat late game, you're going to be removing from play your DD warriors and your DD warrior ladies, and your monsters are going to get bottomless. And of course, Bazoo can remove up to 3 monster cards from the graveyard and mainly, this deck cycles through the monsters pretty nicely. I'm not using Pot of Avarice, so I do want them in the graveyard for Bazoo's effect. And Bazoo's effect, as you guys can read, is once per turn you can remove and play up to 3 monsters from your graveyard, and this card gains 300 for each of those removed monsters. So it could be at 2,500, it could run over a monarch, suicide with a what's it called, Stars Dragon. So obviously, the warriors just searchable by giant rat, can attack, defend, remove, good stuff. No manga, I just want to explain, it's when this card is destroyed by battle, you gain 1,000, and you can summon 2 other mamangas from your deck onto the field. Yet again, cycle through the cards, put them in the graveyard, get Bazoo's effect, and then you can like work it out with return from a different dimension. Of course, card trooper being at 1 before, I think, when I made this deck, now at 2 really speeds up the deck, mill those monsters, and just get advantage later on with return. And then 1 exile force, searchable by giant rat. It's very, like, this deck has good toolbox. You could get tuners, you could get exile force monster removal, you could get a grand mole, which of course can get rid of big XYZ monsters. You could get injection fairy lily, where you could pay 2,000 and you could run over like a blue eyes. You could run over like what's a really big monster? Let's see, like you can run over Gachi, you can run over Leviathan if it's at 3k. It's a really awesome card. Of course, Gorz for the control aspect, the Warley, Sucky Commanders for synchros, and it's at 19 pretty much because you can pay life points to reduce the attack of your opponent's attacking monsters. Warrior Lady, just another anti-meta card. Of course, a double Bazoo, as I explained. Now I got 1 rhoda, of course, to search out your warrior lady and your DD warriors and your exile force, and then more toolbox. And then the 4 really good, I kind of like chose these 4 cards to be in this deck as a one-of, because, well, Book of Moon, you can only run 1. Lance, Shrink, and enemy controller. This deck, I believe the greatest part about this deck is the battle phase. During battle phase, you have so many cards to help you. Like, For example, what's this thing called? Giant rat. You know, during the battle phase, you can manipulate the battle phase by using these three cards. And I know, okay, you want it to be destroyed by battle, but sometimes, trust me, if there's a big monster and you have giant rat and you have something like lance with you, you're not afraid of a big monster or any like spell or trap or whatever, right? I mean, you can have great combos with it. Same thing with econ. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. Run two lands, run no lands, run two shrinks. But I just feel like for the fun aspect, I like to mix things up, and it works. You know, like so many possibilities. You could work this shrink with your psychic commander, work this shrink with your injection fairy lily, play enemy controller, tribute. Like mamonga or something, take control of your opponent's monster. It's all good. So double smashing ground, destroy big monsters, dark hole, heavy storm, monster reborn, staples, right? Deep prison. Now all these are very good defensive traps, and of course I'm maining one style at road because in this format you have to main one style at road. That's just how it is. No trench or tribute. No what's that thing called? Yeah, no trench or tribute, and no two copies of Mirror Force, just one copy of Mirror Force. No compulsory, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You could run those as well. It's a great card. Side deck card if you want. If you're playing against big decks that uses big XYZ and synchros. Of course, the one return. Pay half your life. Special summon as many remove from play monsters. You summon as many of it as possible. I think from your remove from play. No, it's as many of your remove from play monsters. So you can't summon your opponent's monster. It's not like Dimensional Fusion. But yeah, great deck overall. There's pretty much no need to what's it called? Synchro or sorry, XYZ because I mean you can. This is obviously way better than before because XYZs and synchros came out. But side deck, it's not a side deck. It's kind of just you can run 3 MSTs. I'm not running any. It's really good in this deck because MST the warning, play your rat, attack into like a floater or something, and you got yourself a floater on the field. And yeah, let's see, synchros. The most you're gonna use is probably Black Rose or Stardust, or possibly level 6 is Iron Chain or Catastor, because you can go level 3 Psychic Commander with level 2 Mamonga, or level 3 with level 3 to make a level 6 Gaia Knight or Iron Chain. But I rarely do that. I mean, I don't want to lose advantage over something unless it rarely happens. But Exceed, same thing. I don't want to lose advantage, but you do go to Utopia and Gachi sometimes. Same thing with Zen mains and any level 3s. You do go for those relevant cards a lot. And anyway, this deck has been really awesome. I still play this deck. It can pick apart decks if you can play smart enough, and it has this anti-meta theme, of course, in it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and you can go out there, build it on your own. It's like less than $30-40 at the most if you're buying singles, and mainly because of Solemn warnings and Solemn, and then you could go on Duelingnetwork, build it yourself. But anyway, great deck overall. Make sure you try it, and that's gonna be the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you like this video. If you want to see more, and yeah. Anyway, peace out, guys.